Good morning, folks. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to give people another minute to arrive. But in the meantime, we invite you to introduce yourself using the chat function. So you can look at the bottom of your screen, select the chat function, and you can share your name, your company or organization, and geographically where you're joining us from. Thanks for noting that, attendees. So we'll be using the chat function in just a little bit. I see that there are still a couple of folks arriving. But when you're ready, you should be able to enter your name, your company or organization, and where you are hailing from. So we'll give people a minute while we get the chat re-enabled. Well, excellent. One of the pieces of housekeeping I was going to share was that we encourage you to use the Q&A function. We will endeavor to answer the questions throughout the webinar, and we've also made sure to allow time at the end for more robust Q&A, and we may invite people to unmute and ask their questions. I see that folks are following the instructions to introduce themselves in the chat. We're also going to be using a poll function later on, so we can get a sense of who's in the room. We'll get started in maybe one more minute. All right, I'll go ahead and get us started with some housekeeping. So you may have noticed that this webinar is being recorded. We can turn off the recording function for Q&A towards the end, but we are using this as an opportunity to share with folks who wanted to join but were unable to join live. Folks are doing a great job following the second one so far. Please make sure that you are muting your microphone. We've done the introductions in chat, and we'd love for you to just take note of some of the key insights and takeaways. As I mentioned, you can use a chat function, but we do encourage you to use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. That allows us to continue to answer the questions as we continue on. So you've given us an opportunity to introduce yourselves to us. Now allow us to introduce ourselves to you. I mentioned this in the chat, Bernadette Austin. I'm here at the Sacramento Asian Chamber offices in Midtown Sacramento, and I'm serving as a program director for the Regional Small Business Utilization Center. I am joined today by Andrea. She will be your point person in the chat if I'm busy providing my presentation, but we're really thrilled to have you here. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our sponsors and our partners, many of whom are joining us today. So first, I'd like to thank, this program would absolutely not be possible without support from GoBiz, specifically the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. We also have local organizations supporting us, including SMUD, who you will hear from later, as well as the Sierra Health Foundation, which is our philanthropic partner. You will be hearing later on today from AGC California, the Associated General Contractors of California. So I'll let them introduce themselves. We're also going to be joined by Sacramento Region Builders Exchange. So we have pretty robust construction partnerships throughout the state and throughout the region. So first, I'd like to turn it over to our partners at SMUD. Franklin Burris, take it away.
Good morning. Pleasure to be with you today. My name is Franklin Burris. I am part of our Sustainable Communities Department and more specifically our Economic Development and Partnerships team. Our goal is to support small local businesses within our service territory. And we do that through our board of directors who have established a goal of 20% of all dollars that we contract to be spent with small local businesses. In our mind, that means you're certified by the Department of DGS, or as you might know, e-procure, as a small business, any small business certification. And the address on that certificate is located within our service territory for at least 6 months. So you're a customer of SMUD. You meet those two criteria, you become what we call a SEED vendor, which is a small local business. We're very serious about this goal. Our goal is 20%. Last year, we just got these numbers done for 2024. We did 30.1% and it was 204 million. So it's even better than the numbers on that chart now. So it's really important to us. That was over 104 contracts, both primes and subs. We give the same benefit to primes out of the area if they use more than 20% of the dollars contracted to seed subs. So that's an incentive to get more of you involved in more of those bids. We have workshops that we offer, talk about the program, and obviously working with the SBUC on getting more exposure to the program.
Thank you so much, Franklin. SMUD has been a wonderful partner for a variety of organizations throughout the community, not the least of which are ours. So these slides are going to be available online. Is there anything else that you would like to say about the SEED program? Otherwise, I will turn it over to our next speakers.
I would just say that my experience working with small businesses, public contracting can be a game changer, and it's worth the effort to get into trying it. I know it's a little scary. It's a government process, and none of the websites are wonderful. It can be definitely worth your time. At SMUD, we like to say we're the Goldilocks. We're big enough to do big projects, but we're small enough that you can talk with us. We're here, we're local. So it's a great way to dip your toe into that public contracting pool.
Great. Thank you so much, Franklin. You're an excellent partner. I'd like to now introduce our programmatic partners from AGC California. We're joined by Kayla Montgomery and Nasim Adeli, and I'm going to turn it over to you all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Bernadette. So it'll just be me speaking today, but you probably noticed Kayla in the chat. So she is here with us today. So hi, everyone. My name is Nasim Adeli. I do want to start off by thanking the RSBUC for their partnership. We're really looking forward to providing some great programs in tandem with them. So again, my name is Nasim Adeli. I'm the Industry Advancement Manager with AGC of California. And Kayla is also here. She's our Senior Industry Advancement Manager. And I did drop both of our email addresses on the screen. Please take a quick picture, jot it down. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you and connect with y'all. And moving to the next screen or the next slide, a little bit about us here at AGC of California. So that stands for the Associated General Contractors of California. We represent almost 1,000 contractors across the state of California. So from the Oregon border down to San Diego County. San Diego does have their own separate chapter. They are partners with us, of course. Our membership is made up of all sizes of general specialty contractors that do work in all sectors. So private, public, industrial, as well as roads, highways, and bridges. So we really cover the full umbrella of construction, and we really work together with our members to provide these services. So we advocate for industry, address labor compliance and issues, networking and connections, training and education, and workforce development. And so moving to the next slide, I'll talk a bit about some of the workforce development programs that we carry through our Construction Education Foundation. So the workforce and community development programs are actually run under our nonprofit arm, the Construction Education Foundation. And some of those programs that are powered through our foundation are the training and education, student chapters, scholarships, grants, emerging leaders, Build California. And next slide. We also, under our workforce and community development umbrella, we do house our diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging and culture programming, as well as our small and underrepresented business. So some of the programming that we do for these groups do include technical assistance, consulting, matchmaking to our membership, our larger contractors, networking events where we do invite our agency and owner partners, also training, education, and development. And really quickly, I do want to touch on our exciting partnership. So for the next slide, under our partnership with the RSBUC, here are a couple things that will be coming in the next few months. So we have our in-person sub-summit on June 3rd at the Officers Club in Sacramento, as well as an 8-week sub-basics academy to help with capacity building and contract readiness. And that'll be, again, 8 weeks this summer. And more information on both of these will be sent to y'all from our partners over at RSBUC or ourselves. So if you have any questions, please do reach out. And that's it for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. AGC has been a wonderful partner for the Regional Small Business Utilization Center. So you heard a lot of information. I'll repeat that this is being recorded. The slides will be available. And I really encourage you to join our email listserv if you haven't yet. We're not going to be bombarding you, but we are going to be keeping you up to date on all of these great programs, many of which are completely free of charge. So we've told you a lot about ourselves, so the key sponsors and partners of this effort, but we'd like to hear who's in the room. So we're going to use the poll function, so you should be able to select which applies to you. So we'd love to hear, let's start with, which industry do you work in? So what aspect of construction do you work in? You should be able to select more than one. So why don't you take, the next 10, 20 seconds, we'll have the poll up for just a little bit, and then I'll share with you the results. And we're going to ask a series of questions just to get a sense of who is in the room. I'll also encourage, we have a lot of partners who are in the room. Feel free to select which ones you are working in as well. Great, the responses are starting to roll in. So far, what's leading is lots of residential and non-office space commercial. Makes a lot of sense in the Sacramento region. We're also seeing a larger number of institutional projects. That is absolutely something that we are anticipating. All right, let's see if we can get one or two more people to respond. Excellent, they're rolling in. Definitely a lot of institutional projects. That's great. Actually, a little spoiler, we're going to be hosting our first in-person event next month at the rail yards. Some of you may have heard there was their grand, not grand opening, but their groundbreaking earlier this week. So seeing some of these institutional projects like universities, healthcare, there's a lot of opportunity there for folks who want to work in this space. So we appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and end this poll and move on to our next question. So let me share the results really briefly so folks can kind of see who else responded. All right. Okay, so I'm going to take that one down and we'll launch the next question. Okay, so this next question should be on your screen. Tell us where you work. So a little bit about our program. We are operating in Sacramento, Placer, and Yolo counties. Our partners on this call represent folks in each of those counties. So far, of the respondents, everyone works in Sacramento County, but it looks like almost everybody works in more than one jurisdiction. We see a couple of people who say that they work in other areas in the capital region. That's wonderful. Some other answers coming in, and people who are also working outside of the capital region. There's a lot of growth opportunities in the Bay Area. There's a lot of infrastructure projects outside of the Sacramento region into the Central Valley and also in some of the more rural communities. All right, looks like we have pretty extensive responses to this one. So I'm going to go ahead and end this poll and share the results with you. So just like I mentioned, a lot of folks in Sacramento, it looks like everybody does some work in Sacramento County. That's excellent because SMUD likes hearing that. That's their main service area. But you can see there's some pretty good diversity of where people are coming from. All right, we are halfway through our questions. Thank you so much for cooperating. Next question. Please tell us about your workforce size. So you may not know exactly, but just generally, are you talking about a small organization of 1 to 5 people? Are you one of these? Are you part of maybe a national or multinational company with over 250 employees? This helps give us a better sense of what sort of support the regional SBUC may want to be providing. Excellent. You're getting really good at these polls. The answers are coming in fast and furious. So this is actually exactly what we are anticipating, and I'm really thrilled to see this, that, we have these small and mid-sized businesses. I think that you all are probably well positioned to grow. I will also share with you that one of the goals of the regional SBUC perhaps is to grow and support workforce development as well. So we are definitely focused now on supporting small businesses, helping you secure the funding and financing you need to grow, securing the contracts so that you can work in probably more diverse areas, work with new partners. This is absolutely a focus of what we want to do. So I will end this poll and I'll share with you the results. And like I mentioned, looks like everyone who responded is from a smaller mid-sized business, everyone operating in Sacramento County and other areas. So that's excellent. All right, thanks for bearing with me. We're going to do one more poll. Great. So this last question is just tell us a little bit about your company. And again, select all that apply. So I'll share with you, you may be a company of 1. That would be great to hear. Are you currently hiring? Is looking for a qualified workforce something that's a priority for you? Do you consider yourself a small business? And we'd also love to hear, are you interested in designations? Do you have these designations? So please feel free to take a minute. I'll give people a little bit of time to complete this one. This is really helpful for us to know to make sure that we are offering you the types of programs and services that you're seeking. Wonderful. I'll share so far that everyone who has responded so far identifies as a small business. Absolutely. We're doing our jobs here. There's also a lot of interest. And it looks like many of you are already designated as a small business enterprise with the Department of General Services. That's a state agency. So that's great to hear. So many of you, but certainly not all of you. And many of you also have designations as other types of business enterprises. I'll give people another 20 seconds to respond, and then I'll share the poll. All right, thanks. I'll go ahead and share this poll. All right, so you can kind of see who else in the room here with us. Take a minute to look at those results. Great. All right. So let's jump into our program. Okay, let me get out of my screen. So thank you for sharing with us that information. We wanted to share a couple of things today. So we're first going to hear from Sacramento Region Builders Exchange, and they're going to do an overview of some of their programs, notably the Plan Room. For those of you who are interested in contracts and bids, that's a great resource. We're then going to tell you a little bit more about our programs, including one of our platforms, Diversity Procure. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to SRBX.
Hello, everyone, and thank you again, Bernadette, for having me here. I'm here to present Sacramento Regional Builders Exchange. So we are a nonprofit construction trade association here to support local contractors as well as other related businesses within the industry. And so we do this by providing a multitude of resources, including our robust calendar, which includes different networking events to help you get in front of the people that you want to meet and connect with other GCs or subs. We also have different safety programs to help you get certifications, and we even offer free CPR training as well. So we try to just give as many resources as we can to provide benefit for your business as well as the employees that you have too. We also have our online plan room, of course, which houses different projects, public, private, and it usually has 17,000 projects uploaded annually. So with the next slide, I'll share more about the plan room. So with our plan room, this is kind of just like a little sneak peek into it. So you'll see that all the projects are listed on our main page. You'll see the bid date as well as the location. You're able to see the bidding projects on a calendar view to see every single day how many projects are being bid on. And that way you're able to kind of plan your projects out on a timeline basis. You'll also see the red bar where there are a couple other features too, including being able to track your projects, as well as underneath settings and info, there's the option to create saved searches. So our plan room does cover the entire state of California, but maybe you're only local to Sacramento, so you're only interested in Sacramento jobs. Well, we do have a feature where you're able to select jobs only by location and by keywords so that you're actually finding the jobs that you want to cover. You'll see also here in this little square where it says documents, project actions. These are a couple of other features that you'll see within the project itself. So you'll have access to all the blueprints, the plans, the specs. You'll be able to upload those files straight away through this takeoff program. And you'll also be able to see who else is bidding as well as who else is viewing the project. So again, you have that opportunity to see who are those who are in the same industry, who are those who are in the same field as you, and who are those you might want to get connected with. We'll go to the next one to share a little bit more about our events that we host. So I mentioned that we have different local events for networking. Well, Women in Construction is something that we host just once a year, and it's our main conference from the year. And this year is actually going to be our first time hosting it for 2 days because there's just so many people that we're expecting this upcoming year. And we really want to make it a really impactful time. And so we'll have a couple of keynote speakers coming to share about their experience being in the industry, and we'll have a lot of other smaller workshops throughout the day too to take home specific key takeaways and different things to apply to your own leadership or to your own business model. And just lastly, just a couple of contacts for Roxana Chia, as well as myself. Roxana, she's the Director of Member Services, and I am the Manager of Member Benefits. So we are here to make sure that all of our members have complete access and complete knowledge of the different resources that we offer, including, again, education, safety, the plan room, advertising, the directory. There's really so much to just get connected. So please do reach out if you have any questions, and you're more than welcome as well to just surf our website at srbx.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charisse. It's really excellent working with you all. I will note that I'm hearing great things about that particular event. I've not yet been able to attend, but I plan to attend this year. And Franklin from SMUD also put a note in that he's excited about it, says it's a great event. Also, for those of you who are into celebrities, we've got Captain Sandy from Bravo, who's going to be one of the keynote speakers. So I think it's going to be a great time. So I think I would love to talk a little bit about the Asian Chamber. So if for those of you who aren't familiar, we've been around for quite some time, right? Over 30 years, serving Sacramento's diverse small business community. I'll note that we are not exclusively serving Asian-owned businesses. We really are trying to support a variety of types of small businesses throughout the Sacramento region. We also do a lot of work in public policy, creating opportunities through advocacy and legislative efforts, including supporting efforts like the ones that we are working on today to make sure that procurement is going to local, small, and diverse businesses. We offer a variety of programs. Of course, today we're talking about the regional SBUC, but we do have a history of working with Inclusive Economic Development Collaborative or hosting that, as well as California Jobs First. We are one of the key partners with the local effort We Prosper Together, which serves 8 counties. And last but not least, there are membership opportunities. So there are some great members only opportunities where we invite you to excellent networking events and programs. And I will note, coming up at the end of May is returning again is our AAPI night market. It is very exciting, great entertainment, great food, and we hope that you can join us. So Andrew's going to be dropping some links in the chat. They will also be available on the website. All right. Well, let's get right into it. So we've talked a lot about, all of these diverse and robust partnerships throughout our region. You're probably interested in hearing more about what is this Regional Small Business Utilization Center and why is it such a mouthful? So the SBUC, which is what we call it, is really intended to support businesses like those here. So very much focused on supporting small businesses and subcontractors to bridge the gap between opportunity and readiness. So it was wonderful to see that so many of you have designations and certifications that are really going to give you that leg up in procurement. We also noted that everyone works in Sacramento County, but also work in other areas. So we really are focused on organizations who are doing business in Sacramento, Placer, and Yolo counties. Congratulations, you already meet those criteria, and those working in construction and related industries. So I did want to talk a little bit about some of the opportunities that we have in the region. So you are probably here because you're aware that there are a large number of construction projects underway or in the pipeline. I talked about the groundbreaking at the Sacramento rail yards. We also have exciting university opportunities such as UC Davis Aggie Square. We also have some opportunities in the private sector, such as the Bosch semiconductor plant upgrades in Placer County. There are a variety of new hospital construction and many master plan developments. So there's a lot going on in our region. I'll also note, because this might not be on your radar, there's a lot of focus on some of the other election outcomes, but there are some other ones that really impact the kind of work that we do as well. You may have noted that voters approved 2 bonds, both valued at over $10 billion each, affectionately referred to as the school bond and the climate bond. So schools in our region could benefit from renovations and improvements to safety and energy efficiency, and there's a lot of funding for that. Also, the increased frequency and severity of climate-related disasters like fires and floods are going to require skilled construction workforce to rebuild the communities impacted by wildfire and flooding. And those are 2 things that we are very familiar with here in this area. So feel free to share in the chat. We identified what we think are some of the challenges that are facing our contractors. And really, this center is something that we want to co-create with you. So what types of training and coaching and networking do you need to reach your business goals? So here are some that we anticipate. It might be difficult to track all the different opportunities to bid from different local jurisdictions and other agencies and institutional partners. It's one of the reasons we're highlighting the wonderful Plan Room program that SRBX has available. Contractors might be unsure how to connect with general contractors as a subcontractor. We're trying to host in-person networking events as well as create space on one of our platforms that acts sort of as a LinkedIn for folks in the construction industry. Folks might be unsure whether they're qualified for and how to secure designations. We asked about minority and women business enterprises, and it looks like several of you are familiar with that, but some of you might qualify and aren't yet qualified or have those certifications. I also want to note that there's a lot of opportunities for disabled veteran-owned businesses. So if any of those potentially apply to you, let's chat. Some folks may not be aware about Department of General Services. By the look of the poll, it looks like a lot of you are. So that's really great. That's an opportunity that opens up opportunities for you to work with state agencies. We also note that there is a persistent workforce gap in construction, right? We have people aging out of the workforce, or maybe they're promoting into more administrative roles. We're seeing that in a variety of industries, not just construction. We also anticipate that maybe there's going to be a reduction in the workforce. And we also note that there's an opportunity to include even more people in the construction trades. We talked about supporting women in construction. Also, we celebrated Women in Construction Week earlier this month, as well as supporting young people, people from communities of color, and more. So we're really committed to working with our construction industry partners to grow the workforce for our construction partners. So wanted to talk briefly about the resources for contractors through our regional SBUC. So we have some high-tech resources. I'll be sharing some slides about that in a moment. We also have excellent subject matter expertise, and you've heard from two of our key partners today. Notably, AGC is one of our prime partners on this effort, and also SRBX. As noted on the slide too, there's a variety of ways we can support through training, one-on-one coaching and consulting, and matchmaking. All right, so I'll move on to our next slide. So we also want to help bridge the gap for general contractors, primes who are being funded by these public and other institutional partners. So often what we find is, for example, health systems, local jurisdictions have procurement goals. Franklin gave the example of SMUD that has a 20% procurement goal of local and diverse businesses, and that they are really, meeting and exceeding their goals. And it's one of the reasons we wanted to partner with them. They're absolutely doing this right. And we would like to help other jurisdictions and agencies and organizations like SMUD to meet their diverse and local and small business hiring goals. So we see that there's an opportunity to connect you, small businesses and local businesses, with the primes who are getting these contracts. And we see a variety of opportunities there. So what are some of the challenges we anticipate? Maybe they're having trouble meeting their goals. They're not getting enough or getting qualified bidders, and maybe they're unsure how to connect with the ones who already have secured these contracts, those being the subcontractors to general contractors. And so we're trying to address this a number of ways, helping support the access to these suppliers and subcontractors, helping them with contract making and increasing the visibility and recognition. So I'm going to share with you one of our platforms, and I'll just remind folks that you can use the chat or the Q&A function to share any thoughts that you're having. As I've mentioned, we're going to work on addressing those later on in this morning's webinar, and then also have an opportunity for folks to unmute and ask any questions. So you heard about the plan room. We also have available through Sacramento Asian Chamber Diversity Procure. So this is a national platform, but we have it tailored to work locally. So you can see this is the screen, this is a screenshot of the profile that I have set up. As I mentioned, if you can set up a LinkedIn or Facebook profile, you can definitely set this up. It is very user friendly. And then you can, in here, you can get a sense of what are some of the resources available. So you can, we can work with jurisdictions to post a bid and search. You can use this as an opportunity to network online and connect with other folks by being able to search what their specialties are. And then I wanted to deep dive into some of the resources that are available. So you can search for opportunities. These are just old ones, but I just wanted to share with how these work. So you can actually click on these opportunities, and this is what it would look like. It's got a lot of details about potential bidding opportunities. Posts can include details like location, the project of value, so what the contract amount would be for a description, any requirements, certifications and qualifications, as well as a link to the original bid opportunity. And that's not all. You hear a lot about AI. Diversity Procure, because it is dedicated to this type of procurement, has a dedicated AI feature where you can say, hey, I want to complete an RFP. So you would click on that. And these are the kinds of things that the AI tool can walk you through. So you can say, hey, I want to fill out, these are the typical RFP components, deliverables, statement of work. So you can click on these, follow the prompts, and will help you generate an RFP response. We know that these can be incredibly difficult and onerous. And so actually one of the things we can help with is some one-on-one coaching and consulting, but this is a great way to just be able to use this from the comfort of your own home. So this is just one of the features that Diversity Procure offers. And I just want to share with you the extent of this reach. So as I said, we're kicking this off, and this program launched informally in January, and we've had webinars in February and March so far. But this tool, which is free for folks to use, just contact us and we'll help you get things set up. This is an example of the universe of diversity procure opportunities nationally, and you can see the award where things have been awarded. And so, sometimes people kind of ask, so what are these awardees? These are research and development. So there's a lot of R&D from technology. You've got Caltech and Lawrence Livermore Labs, but this gives you a really good sense of how extensive the opportunities in this platform are. So wanted to share some information. So I will note that it is free to participate. What we are also offering for generally for general contractors or some who are looking to find subs, we would love to partner with you. So please note, again, no fee applies. We do have an opportunity for higher level sponsorship, and really those folks are probably interested in finding the workforce and the subcontractors so that they can meet their particular goals. So Andrea has been populating the chat with some of these links, and we'll note too, again, that these are going to be available afterwards. I am going to pause for questions, but what I'm going to do is also leave on our slide upcoming events. So we do have some great upcoming events. So funding and financing has been something that people are really interested in. Tune in next week for a 3-part virtual workshop. We also are going to be having co-hosting meetups. SMUD offers a great program on how to do business with them. And there's also a great program on how to do business with SAC Regional Transit. So I'll leave this screen up. In a moment, I'll turn it over to contact information for Andrea and me, but I'm going to go and refer to the chat and see if there's anything. So let me see. I'm going to just see. It looks like we don't have additional Q&A that has come in. I'll pause and see. So it looks like I don't see any particular questions, but I'm going to go ahead and I'll just remind folks that we are still recording, but I wanted to pause and see if there's anyone who wanted to use the raise hand function and ask a question live. And while folks are waiting, I'm just going to put in, this is the contact information for myself and Andrea. Give people another minute to pull up those QR codes. We are good people to contact if you would like to join our e-newsletter. We'll keep you up to date on a variety of events and programs, again, largely free of charge. There's also an opportunity to hear about about the programs that are coming up. Again, some trainings, both virtual and in person. Okay, I think we'll stop the recording and see if people wanted to ask questions off of recording.